guys, welcome to Redline. I'm here with Ilyana, Dea, our fourth member of Redline Talk Show, and our guest for today is Xhemo Lanica. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. My pleasure, as always.
So, Xhemo, I know him for a long time. I love your energy. You are the president, founder of Albanian American Association of Ulqin. We're going to get into your background a little bit, but first we want to know more about you, right? Your personal story. So tell us a little bit about when did you come to this country and how that journey was like for you?
Well, speaking to youngest, I think president of the Albanian American Association, not only in New York, but entire state, and came this country 2018.
2018.
Yes.
Okay. And you came here with as a student or as
I came here with my family, of course, as a student.
Okay.
And going back when I was a kid, I was born and raised in Ulqin.
Okay.
13 years old, I moved to Shkodër by myself. And 16 years old, I finished the high school in Shkodër. Then I moved in Tehran for another 3 years.
Oh, okay. So you've been to Albania for
yes.
quite some time.
I lived for 6 years in Albania.
How did you like that?
I loved it.
Yeah?
You know?
Was it a lot different than Ulqin?
To be honest with you, we had the same, pretty much same mentality. Shkodër, Ulqin, vlla motor. That's how I say. Ulqin, Shkodër, vlla
That's what
motor.
they say, yep.
Yes, but in Tehran, it's been a great experience. You know, I met a lot of
Different
people.
mindset.
Yes, different, 100% different mindset. You know, not like an old school mentality. People are open-minded. You see people going out, having fun, talking about the future, and that's all life is about it. You know?
Do you think your experience in Tirana helped kind of mold you into wanting more for yourself?
Absolutely, yes, absolutely. You know, in Tirana, like I said, I meet a lot of successful people, and I was like honored to be around my fellow Albanians that I never had an imagination to meet with them, because you know it was actually hard for me to move by myself. I was only 16 years old, and I lived in an apartment by myself, and you know, walking every day out in Tirana streets. You learn back home, like in Ulqin especially, you learn, like you heard people saying, oh, it's not safe, you know, Albania, this and that, but it was totally different.
Can you tell us a little bit about how did you find the courage at such a young age to do that, to go to Shkodër, to go then to Tirana, and you know?
To be honest with you, I was a troublemaker in Ulqin, and my parents wanted me to like just move from Ulqin, get educated more.
Wow!
And
from troublemaker to the president now of the Albanian Association of Ulqin.
Everything by the time, but.
Yeah.
It was a great experience in Shkodër, especially. We weren't allowed to have iPhones with the camera, like phones.
Right.
We weren't allowed to speak with our family for like 3 or 4 days. We weren't allowed to go out in Shkodër. We stayed in the school. We had accommodation and everything in the school.
It's like a boarding school?
Yes.
Okay.
And we were allowed only once a week to go out with our like teachers.
And where did you go out when you had that opportunity to leave your compounds, so to say?
Actually, we went to play games. We went to play games
like
for like 2-3 hours, and we had to like just go back, and that was it.
What was the name of the school in Shkodër? And would you
Koleji Hasan Riza Pasha.
Yeah.
It's a Turkish college, so I had a chance to learn Turkish, but it was like Turkish American. But I never got a chance to learn American language because I said, "Oh, I'm not gonna need it." And
so you had no idea you were coming to America?
I didn't have idea that I'm coming in this country. Then
Hoş geldiniz.
Hoş bulduk.
And now you're in New York.
Yes, in New York, you know, and the greatest city in the world, I think. Yes, and
we can argue about that, but okay.
I don't know about that, but for us, we live right now, we can see a lot of changes, but New York is New York, you know, and it will always be in the history. But yes, a lot of opportunity. Who wants to?
Yeah.
You seized that opportunity. Yes. You came here bright-eyed and hungry and with a mission to unite, but to also do it at a very rapid pace. You came here in 2018.
September.
And since then, you've been able to build an organization that has connected people.
Yes, since COVID-19 hit, it was a global virus, not only New York, not only America,
all over.
but I learned a lot. I learned a lot, and it was like a hard time for our people. We didn't have any more that communication with each other. I kind of feel that we have to do something. I'm talking about myself, so we can still stay connected, stay like in touch, and do something to help even people back home. Even that we are not able to like go out and go around the city. And speaking about myself, about my family, I was home for a month. I didn't go out anywhere. Then this idea came up. Then I called one of my friends and I asked, what do you think about this idea? I said, well, it's a great idea, but I don't know how much you're going to have a support. I said, Albanians wish you all the best, but not on top of them, And that's in every community, not just in Albanian community. And I said, well, I have that good willingness to do it.
Right.
And
what motivated you to bring everyone together? Did you miss your homeland?
I missed my country, actually, and I missed my land, my city, my people, my hometown. And I said, now this is the moment. Now I just have to step up and just represent my people.
Now, there was a shochata for Ulqin prior to
that was a youth Ulqini.
Yeah.
They were like a younger generation. They've been in community like for 3 or 4 years, if I'm not making a mistake. And that was like 10, 15 years ago.
Right.
And because they did not, I'm not going to say anything that doesn't make sense, but makes sense. The reason why they're not anymore like nowhere like longer in the community, it's because they did not collaborate with the other organizations. And this is all about to be united. This is all about to be together, to stick together as a community.
Right.
And this is all about to share ideas and positivity. And that's why they were no longer in the community.
So that's actually a great point. I noticed a huge difference this past couple of years since the Albanian American Association of Ulqin opened up in Staten Island. I'm also from Staten Island, and I'm Dibran, and I have noticed in the last couple of years a lot of different Albanian events where all of the shochatas were united, and that was something that our people has been asking for such a long time. And to see now these organizations having leaders that are, understanding that it's not about being Ulqin or Dibran or Krayan.
Exactly.
It's about all of us being Albanian, being united to create a platform and to create an environment that our children can grow and still be part of the Albanian traditions and culture. So thank you so much.
That's a great
for
point,
that.
actually. Did you ever heard, let's say, association from Milano? Did you ever heard?
No.
Association from
It's just
Berlin?
it's the American Italian Association.
Thank you so much. So this is all about it.
Right.
When you go and represent your country, your people, your community, it's all about Albanians. It's not about Ulqin. It's not about Dibër. It's not about Prishtin or Tiran. It's about Albanian.
Exactly.
No one from these elected officials is going to know, where is Ulqin or Anamalit or...
No, it should be Albanian American Association.
Of course,
One united front. Exactly.
Yes, one united front.
Let me challenge you a little bit on that one, right? Because
Let's go. We like challenges.
I love challenges.
There we go.
Challenges
we have.
That's why we are here today.
Yes, that's why we're here. I'm going to ask you some tough questions. So far, and you know this. I mean, I know this too because that was one of the.
You've been in this game for 20 years.
Long time, yeah. How many Albanian organizations are out there already functioning, right? So they're about, I would say, hundreds of Albanian organizations. And
so
how many
far.
of them actually collaborate with one another? Very few. Well, I do want to commend you because, again, I feel like now, it wasn't like that before, though, before you came in.
Okay.
Every organization from that part of the region, which is Montenegro, right? We had Anemalit, you had Kraja, Ulqini. They all separated. They had events separately from one another. Now they're doing things combined, which I love to see. That's great. The year before this, you guys did a picnic where there was, I think, more than...
One of the biggest picnics that ever happened in New York.
Right. How many
Over
organizations
5,000 people.
How many organizations came
12
together?
organizations.
12 organizations, which was great. I loved it. We were there.
Oh, it was amazing. We literally had everybody represented.
This year, we went to the same picnic. Okay.
Lovely.
Only three organizations.
Yes, absolutely. And I'll
Which
tell
is
you
part
why.
of the same region, which is again
Yes.
the Montenegro region. Tell us a little bit about what happened with that.
Happened a lot of stuff that shouldn't be happening.
Okay.
In the first picnic, you had leaders coming from different boroughs of New York in Staten Island and wanting to lead you in your hometown.
In your
Because
backyard.
Staten Island is now our city. It's our borough, where we feel, where we live, and where we commute every day. And picnic started, didn't even end. You see people posting that call themselves leader, and they've been in community for 34 years. I was honored, I was privileged to organize this event. And all you see, it's yourself in front of all these people, in front of the kids, in front of the future of the community, that you've been putting a lot of efforts than someone else that's been in community for 34 years, even that I wasn't even born. And
So you're saying they use that? You're saying they use that platform for their own?
that was a
advantage?
game, there was a game that I wanted to take. It's all about credits today. It's all about social media. No one cares who did the work. Do you think all the presidents do the work? They don't.
It's a team.
You have people behind you
team, right.
that support you to get to the step you want it to be. And there is few leaders that appreciate it.
You are not even in your later you're not even 30 yet. is the
25.
idea. You're 25.
25.
So you bring
Mid-20s.
Still single.
Oh, another single one.
ready for our show.
Another bachelor.
But yet you bring so much wisdom or understanding as to how leadership should be run. Is this from your experience of failed leadership in your life, or instances in which you've been in organizations where you felt leadership was lacking or corrupt or not leading the way? And how and why do you want to be different? What's the goal here?
The goal here is not about one person. It's about few. It's about our community. It's about our people. It's about the kids.
Okay.
And you cannot corrupt 2-3 organizations, which we know, and everyone knows actually how many organizations and how many corrupt people are involved in these organizations and try to scam people for no reason, just for their interests. Now is the time of young generations, and we are the young generation that we can change the future. We have to give back to the community. A lot of people immigrate to this country and they forget when they come from.
Once you forget where you come from, that's it.
Thank you so much. Then
How are you going to pass the traditions on to your kids if you forgot yourself?
That's what I'm saying. And I think you no longer belong to that community and to your people once you forget that.
Yeah.
And I think we, especially me as a young leader, I've been trying to put a lot of efforts in the community
Okay.
to help my people, Albanians, because I don't talk only for Ulqin. When I talk for the organizations, I talk for the entire Albanians wherever they are, and has been work.
So I'm second generation born here. I've said this before in other podcasts, but during my childhood growing up, we didn't have schools to learn the Albanian. We didn't have, the dance schools and all of that. The way that I was taught Albanian was through my parents and my grandparents, and learn about the traditions and the culture was through my parents. Now, with society changing, where both parents have to work now, sometimes that education is lost. And what I'm loving about your organization is you're bringing schools to the platform where now the parents they may not have the time to teach their child themselves the language or the traditional folk dances or the history, but they can bring them to your schools. Tell us about that, because I've seen a huge difference in the youth in the last couple of years in our community in Staten Island. Tell us more about that.
Well, when I started the organization, I started only with 5 people. And I remember, since it was today, it was a Super Bowling, it was February 13th, and it was snowing. Then we went up, we put on social media on, and we said, this is our topics that we are going to follow, and we're going to make it happen. No one believed. And the first thing we wanted to do is to collaborate with the 2 another organizations that are part of our town. And there was Ana Malit and Kraja. and we agreed after like a month, and we said what we can do for the community. They said, well, to be successful, we have to start working something for kids.
100%.
And get together, no matter what we're doing, no matter how we're doing, we have to do it as soon as possible. And we've been able to deliver that. Albanian school, which we call today Mr. Ship, and we have more than, like, we started and with like 60 or 70 kids. Now we have second and third generation, 250 kids.
Wow,
from
amazing.
Ulqin, from Tehran, from Pristina.
So it's not even just Ulqin.
It's not only
from
Ulqin.
Albanians
Believe
from
it or not,
all over.
we have only 25 kids from Ulqin.
Wow.
You
Well, I
have-
gotta say,
amazing.
I was impressed. I was impressed at the picnic that we were at a couple of weekends ago, and the Albanian music was on, and the whole crowd was kids from 5 years old to,
Yes.
you know,
most of the kids you see
they were most,
there,
yeah. And
yes,
I'm like,
they are
I
from the
bet you they're
school.
all from the school.
Yes, and
It was just, to me, I just had
It's
chills when I saw
heartwarming.
them.
we've
for
seen
sure.
parents coming back to school crying. Oh my God, my kid told me today, Mirman, yes. That's the best feeling you can ever hear, you know? Like, that's the best feeling you can experience it. Like,
This is what it's about.
Mommy, I want to go, I'm going to say it in Albanian, Mommy, do my hunger pizza. Like, we hear this kind of words that parents came to us and they told us. And it's a great feeling because that's all about it, you know? We don't want to get
Yeah.
assimilated. Guess what? Look what happened to the other communities. First generation, you ask them, where are your parents from? Oh, I know somewhere from the Italy.
They don't even know the town that they're
Yeah,
from.
Yeah.
it's very sad, you know. It's very sad, and we don't want this to happen with the Albanian community.
That's very
We
positive.
don't want this, you know.
And you're bringing about positive, productive
Yes,
change. And
yes, you know,
to
we-
kind of place the focus on that, we talk a bit about what may be going wrong with the Albanian community, but I feel like we have a lot of examples of positivity too. And as communities grow, and as someone who's in the same age range as you, looking forward to working on the progress that people older than us have created, but doing it in a different way where you focus on collaboration and enhancing it. How do you find that challenging in your own way, working with people that possess a different mentality from you, or maybe older generationally? Do you butt heads?
No, I was born and raised in Ulqin, like I said, and I was raised with that mentality, old school.
The old school mentality. So you
Yes.
were exposed to it
Of course.
already.
So I already know what's going on. And when I joined this game, I knew that I'm gonna have all the different type of people that I'm gonna have to deal with. And you have people that escape from the communism. You
Yeah.
have people that escaped from during the war, 1997, 8, 9, and you have people that went through a lot of stuff
In their personal
just
life. Yeah.
of course, just to move in this country. And listen, I got a lot of challenges in front of me, and which I was able to handle very good with my team. And we had a lot of snakes on the road, but it was all about positivity. Like I said, if you want to become a successful person, as a successful team, you have to collaborate with the other people.
Right.
And I think the key of the success is working with each other.
Yeah.
The key of the success is working to have a transparency for your community and for your people. That's all about it.
So, speaking about that, right? So, I know you face some challenges as a young
A lot.
Community organizer, right? How do you deal with that, right? And how do you navigate with people that have been in the game for a much longer time? And I feel like they're always a roadblock, because I experienced this too during my time. When I was once your age, I was very full of energy and positivity and you name it.
We've been talking about that actually.
Yeah. And I faced a lot of challenges during that time because, again, I come from a different time where technology was not in our favor so much, right? We had to do everything the hard way.
Or social media.
Yeah, going out in the field, meeting people, doing flyers, pleading them to come to the Albanian parade.
Double
and to
work.
We did a lot of work, and we did a lot of groundwork. Now it's a little bit easier with social media, and I feel like that has paved the way for you guys to do a much better job. But I feel like you people like your energy. They like, your style, your personality, which I think you were able to bring in such a short time many different organizations together already.
You're bringing an inclusive feel.
Right. And people like you. Like I said, they like your personality. How do you then now try to expand on that? Because you
And
still
make more
have
people like
you
you.
still have organizations who still are very regional in a sense that they want to keep into their own backyards. They don't want to really mingle with other organizations. And you as a young leader in this case, how do you, entice them to be part of a much bigger community?
As we're speaking right now, I'm working on two other young leaders. Actually, they are going to be very soon very well known in the community.
Okay.
And I'm going to introduce them into the community and get them involved as much as possible, 100%, because it's not about like keeping your seat as a monopoly.
Monopoly,
Right.
yes.
So you're already taking the steps to
Of course.
mentor someone else.
Yes,
to take
exactly,
over. Good.
exactly, and that's
Changing
what we
That's how
need.
you grow.
Okay.
That's
But
why
are
we
these
need.
organizations already in place, or they're new organizations?
They don't have no organizations, and they are going to be part of organization, and very soon, they are going to be in our team, and why not? Tomorrow they will open.
So follow Albanian American Association's Ulqin on Instagram to find out who these individuals are.
And
Very secret.
Xhemo or
Yes.
Jamal.
Jamal, only my Jewish used to call me, you know.
You have your grandfather's name. Can you
Yes.
tell us a bit about that and who he was?
My grandfather was the chief of staff of the Italian ambassador in Belgrade for 15 years in during the Yugoslavia country when we were all together united. And actually, he was a house friend with the prime minister of Italy.
Okay.
And that's how we go, you know. And he passed away sadly in 1995. And my father and my grandmother actually have choose to name and, you know.
So you have the
name
namesake of
names.
someone who seems to have been a natural diplomat.
And he was the same thing, helping the community, giving back to the community. And, you know, not because he's my grandfather, but back home and even here, that people that lived there and then immigrated here, they speak highly about him, how he was able to help a lot of people, especially with the visas when they wanted to immigrate in Europe.
So you're following his footsteps.
Looks like.
And as you've grown in this field, your profession, who you are, if you were to look back and think about when you started, when you went to Skolder, or when you were still in school, who did Xhemo at age 15 need to be able to be the person he is today? And what would you tell him at that point in time?
To be honest with you, once I found the organization, I had calls. Oh, Xhemo, we remember you on the streets. We were playing soccer. You're a troublemaker. Now look who you are. I said, I'm nobody, you know. I'm still the same Xhemo, you know. I just grew up. And, you know, I actually needed the community support.
Yeah.
I had 100% family support. You know, a lot of people, they have to deal first with the challenges in their homes.
Right.
Where the families stand up and speak up. How are you going to deal with our community? You know, it's not worth it. Are you going to have a support in this? What are you doing? Because in the end of the day, everyone thinks that we get paid. I don't get paid. I volunteer.
Yeah.
And everyone's volunteer. And you have in different communities, different organizations that get paid actually from the city, from the government. And we are a non-profit organization. And all we do is because we have a good willing to do it, we have a pure hearts and good intentions for the Albanian community.
So let's talk about that a little bit, because I feel like money is always a touchy subject when it comes to Albanian organizations. You did some quite a fundraising, right?
Yes,
You
yes.
raised almost $500,000.
We just hit 600 last
Wow.
year.
$600,000.
Congratulations.
Yes, thank you so much.
Tell us a little bit about that, and where did all that money go to, and specifically to what type of...
We had a kit, so I'm going back to the days that we were found, and one of the fundraiser was for the autistic kids back home. And there is a center, only center in Ulqin, and they have a lot of issues. Actually, thank God they don't have anymore, because we were able to secure
To support
every
them.
single thing for them. And that was my first challenge. After the next month, we found the organization. I did an iftar dinner in Staten Island, where I was able to bring 120 people in that dinner and raise more than $10,000 for one night. Then
Nice.
we start from the little things. Then we were like able to secure all the needs they had, and all their requests they like send it towards us. And another thing that we did is for a little kid, he's still getting recovered, and it's been like 2 years. We raised for 48 hours $150,000 to send
Wow.
him overseas, actually in Turkey.
For
to get
surgery?
surgery, yes. And
That could be very
he's doing
expensive.
well. He's
Good.
doing well, but he has a lot of health issues, and we're still like in contact
Supporting
and
him.
communicating with the family, supporting him. And after that, we were able to buy an apartment for two young kids, actually brother and sister, still with the actually with autism as well. You know, the kids in need, and they have a lot of health issues. And I'll tell you a story about this. Actually, I was back home, and they were my like first neighbors. And you have these politic campaigns, like you see politicians walking into their house. Once we get elected mayor of Ulqin, we're gonna take care of this. We're gonna buy the apartment, this and that. They've been
Yeah.
living with that dream and empty promises for 15 years. If someone back in the days would come and tell me, "Hey, Xhemo, you're gonna be the one
You would never have
immigrating
believed
to
that.
America
Yeah.
and doing all this for these kids," I would never believe that. And we finally did it, and they are moving actually this month in the apartment. We were able to secure $85,000, $85,000, yes, for them, and they're moving into the brand new apartment.
So your organization has, what I'm understanding, three big missions. One is, to unite Albanians from all over.
Humanitarian and cultural.
Yes. Number two, to really focus on the American Albanians here,
Yes.
the youth of
Exactly.
keeping the culture alive, but then also being able to use the resources from here, from America, to bring back home. Because as we all know, the government in Montenegro, really doesn't do what they need to do for the Albanians in all of the Albanian towns over there.
We were
So-
able to actually deliver another successful story for the community back home, especially for the Albanians back home, and to work with the government for the first time. An association work inclusively with the government back home, Montenegro. Why? Because, we got the first Albanian prime minister, ethnic Albanian,
Yes.
Dritan Abazovic, elected there. And he was
Dritan Abazi,
the
I
guy,
would say.
Dritan Abazi, of course.
Yeah.
And he was the guy that opened a lot of doors for us, for our organization and for our community. And I'm going to say this as well, and I know that mayor actually is not gonna like it, but yes, he took off the taxes when we bought the apartment for the kids.
Wow.
He said tax-free
Very nice.
for the apartment, and probably I may get him in the trouble there, but yes, he said he said a tax-free for them, and
to do his part in the humanitarian.
of course.
Very
And last thing that after that we did, it's helping in Kosovo, helping in Kosovo. Last year actually, it was a flood because of raining, and we helped in Mitrovica and in Drenic with $10,000.
Very nice.
Very nice.
We raised for 2 days.
So let's speak about, because I know you're dabbling a little bit with political figures, right? And I know recently you went to the Washington White House.
I'm not a politician.
Okay,
I'm
that's
a
fine.
comedian.
It's okay. It's okay.
As a real politician would say on camera.
It's okay to have political aspirations. We're all for that, right? We need more Albanian representation into the political world, right? I'm always for that. So you went to the White House recently.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that experience and what was that mission for?
I told my friends I'm not going to come back in Ulqin, you know, because I already stepped in the White House. Yeah, I'm just joking. Jokes aside, you know, it was a great experience, you know, walking in the White House. You know, a lot of small amount of people get the chance to walk in the White House in Capitol Hill, and not just to walk in.
Now a little
but,
boy from Ulqin.
Yeah.
you know, from
A troublemaker.
Yeah,
A troublemaker.
yes. And you know, not about walking. It's not about just walking. It's about like delivering stuff for your community. And you know, when we go there, like it's all about speaking up for Albanian community in Montenegro.
Right.
It's about speaking their rights about
Their rights, about the
about?
immigration, like they're immigrating right now. And I'm happy to share this as well, that since 2020, the immigration, like it kind of stopped from.
You mean
Montenegro.
migrating outside of Montenegro?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Thank God, you know. But I'm willing to go back. You never know.
It seems that your projects, they're almost larger than life in where they're going, and you have a bigger picture in mind. You mentioned a couple of times you had an iftar dinner, and you've mentioned God a lot in your perseverance and your idea. What role does God play in your life and the missions that you've taken upon yourself? Because it seems that, okay, one, you're not getting a payout out of what you're doing, but you have this inherent goal. What is it being driven from?
Let me ask you a question.
Please.
What are we going to take with us when we die?
That's a great question. And I often ask people this all the time too. When your soul turns over and your material body is in your grave, what is it that you were able to do?
All we're going to take with us is a respect, a good word, the good stuff we did for the people. Doesn't matter if he's Albanian, if he's religious, non-religious. I believe in God. And I thank God every day once I wake up. And every day, it's a gift from God.
Mm-hmm.
Standing up in your foots, going out, working, deliver good stuff for your people, for your community. It's all about that God loves you. And
Even in challenge.
yes, even in challenge.
Maybe especially in
And
challenge.
I'm more thankful when I have challenges in front of me than I'm like just relaxing and
Everything going smoothly.
and thinking like everything
Yeah.
is going smooth and nice. No, I don't like that. But I think God loves you more when he gives you a challenge ahead of you. And that's all about it. I believe in God. I believe in God.
I mean, God
I'm,
doesn't give you a challenge that he doesn't think that you can't.
You'll see
overcome.
now it's on you after.
Yeah.
If you are going to know how to handle it, or
Right.
if you are going to know how to deliver that challenge, being good or bad, you know, that you always gonna have. Let's put it this way. I think you're always going to be the front face of the challenges, not only for good stuff, but for bad stuff as well.
Right.
Now, I build a Shociat Ulqini. If something good happens, Xhemo de Shociat Ulqini. If something bad happens,
Xhemo.
you know? That's what I'm saying.
It's high.
And it's all about that. But yes, I'm proud Albanian Muslim, and
It's really good to
beside
hear.
what's going on now in the world, I like to keep everything in my part and in my region peacefully with my people, and try to think positive. We
And-
don't know what's gonna happen in the future, but as
Albanians are known for that, for their harmony and their peace within
traditions,
their
Yes,
religions
yes.
and their shared habitats as well. But I think what I haven't seen as much is Albanians discussing the soul and development of the soul while you are on this earth. And for many, whether you're coming from a Muslim background or Catholic background, different Christian backgrounds in Albania, there is the discussion about the soul in this worldly life before you transfer into a different life. What, for you, is the meaning of being here in the short glimpse of time that we are before we do transfer over? Is to develop your soul through challenges?
actually, I'm in the family that everyone prays, so they practice the religion. My father, my mom, my sister, 5 times a day. I'm the only one in the house that I didn't develop into that yet, but you know, and I've been trying to actually put myself into their shoes as well.
Do you think because you're just not feeling it in your heart right now, or is it because you're just so busy and it's hard to find the timing?
And it is hard about that, but if you want to do something, you will always find
Find
the
a
time.
way.
Find a way, no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, you will always find it. But for me, it's very important to keep my community, my nationality, my religion as who I am. You know, I don't care with who I'm sitting. I don't care who you love or who you don't love, or who you like and who you support or you don't support.
Right.
My religion and my nationality is the first thing. Of course, they come with my family. And I think if we all do little of that, like to protect where we become from, like where we belong from, it's the little thing we can do. It's the smallest thing we can do and change from like a lot of people's mindset, you know.
So speaking of challenges for you now, personally, right? What are your next challenges as you're facing in this role that you have now, that you took? Like, what are any big projects you have working on? Any challenges that you see? Tell us a little bit about, you know, how you gonna overcome those?
A lot of people say do not talk about your dreams, but my dream is to become one day a mayor of Ulqin.
A mayor of Ulqin, okay.
Yes.
You want to go back home?
Well, first we're gonna start here and see if it's gonna
Unite
work
the
here.
diaspora.
Wait, you want to run for office here?
First, let's not talk about that. You know?
He's a comedian, not a
He's
politician,
Real
remember?
talk show, right?
Yeah.
So we have to talk real.
Red line.
So red line, but real in the end of the day.
Yes.
And we have to keep it real. And yes, I would love to do something here as well. But as I said, we are working in some other leaders that they were trying to run for the office for a long time, but they never got the right support, or they never got the chances. Now, I kind of like step back a little bit because, you know, I still have to work on myself. I still have to work on my
You're developing your skills
exactly.
and your experience.
Yes. And yes, we're gonna start from here, then we'll see where the road takes us.
And that's interesting you mentioned that, because it's that level of introspection and reflection that you have. Many people seek a position or power because they just want to be in that highlighted space. But the idea of it all, whether it be power or money, is that it's a ticket to have an effect. And if you're not clear about what your effect is, you might get lost in that mess as well. So how have you clarified your vision with what it is you want to do when you are in that position where you have access to funds and to power to make things happen? How can you not be bought?
I don't like money. You know, you just mentioned the finances and everything, but it's very easy. If you want to do something, you are going to do it.
Okay.
Wrong or right. If you want to deliver something, you are going to deliver it, wrong or right. And starting from now, and what's going to happen in 10 years, I'm not going to say that I see it, but I've been working on myself very hard to become what I want to become, you know?
And you will be successful because you're
I hope
working.
so, you know?
You're working on yourself.
If God is willing,
yeah.
yes, we will all be successful, whatever we want it to be one day. But it's all about matter of time. It's all about matter of course, financial support as well. If you don't have a strong team to support you as well, you're not gonna be able to deliver or to become in that, like, to step up on the position you want it to be. And I think takes time. Good things take
Takes time.
But,
and it's a matter of patience and
yes,
sabr,
yes.
which you know very
Sabr,
well.
yes.
And those on which God does inflict sabr and having time to wait, he loves the most.
Faith,
is the
sabr,
idea.
you know?
Yeah.
And I think people that have, as you mentioned, sabr, faith, and they are patient, I think they are the most successful people. Because I've seen people like fighting one time or two and they quit. And I never seen them again. And for me, those people are not fighters, are quitters. And
You're gonna keep going.
yes, you're gonna keep going, even if you lose. That's just you know,
learn from
one
that
game,
loss
I
and
think
keep
is
going.
and keep going.
lesson learned, you know.
Yeah.
And learn from those that maybe not even understand your vision or may want to misinterpret your vision on purpose or not on purpose. We're not going to assume purpose there. But how do you deal with that? How do you deal with negativity or people trying to misinterpret your name or your mission?
Do you think people do you think people people can like approach to me and like talk something negative about me or about what I'm doing?
Well, no one is untouchable and no one is perfect because then
course.
we'd be God himself is
Yes,
the idea.
but I've dealt with a lot of negativity in like past 6 months, to be honest. And as we grow as a community, as an organization, you had a lot of people attacking us, not because you are doing something wrong, not because
Would you say it's jealousy?
yes, 100%.
Right.
Irvin, you know this, brother. You can speak. You can speak about this as well. You know,
Listen,
a lot of people stepped on your way.
This is your time. So this is the time for the
And-
young people to step up and tell us what the challenges are. I already left that game a long time ago, so I already know.
Brother, you are still in the
You
game.
You are still in the game.
He's in the game.
The
he
game is
doesn't
being
know
Just,
it.
you know, the
No,
game is
I'm
being
doing
played.
something-
That's why he's winning.
I'm doing something. I'm doing something different now because it's not. You know, what I did not work, right? So, and I faced on, like I said, a lot of challenges.
But it's a good question, yeah.
No, it's a good question. I commend you for that,
you.
and I feel like to me, you have my support. You always will, because like I say, I like your energy. I like your style, your personality. You have good intentions, which is good. I just hope you keep in that same straight path.
I'm
and
going
you
to
don't-
be the same
right.
person.
and you don't
Good.
deviate
Yeah.
from other influences of people with personal interests, and you know this very well that people are going to come up to you, offer you things.
Doesn't
Money,
work with me, I'm not
power,
corrupt.
whatever. They're gonna
mean-
try to corrupt you in every
Right.
way possible, right? So, I feel like if you stay true to yourself and to your objectives and your mission, you'll be fine. You have our support.
What I love is
obviously.
you're already like looking at two individuals who are younger than you that you're going to be mentoring, molding to kind of help you along the
Grow.
way and kind of grow them. And then hopefully they'll do the same and just keep passing it
Like
on.
Erwin said,
That's what's
you're
gonna keep this organization
you're gonna be
going,
dealing,
going,
or you
existing.
dealt with the corrupt people. I've been like in
My
that game.
advice to you as a young leader would be to stick with the youth for now and try to influence them as much as possible, which
the
I
future.
love that you're doing that. Focus on the future and not the past,
Yes,
right?
Yes.
The past will eventually die out. All the old heads that are still around, they're eventually gonna, die out eventually. And I think that it's the time of the future now to take over. And you're going in the right direction.
You're actually taking over as a future
Yes,
generation.
you
yeah.
are. So continue
there
with that.
already.
Continue
Yes.
with that. Mold the future. Bring as much future as possible into your activities, gatherings, and do not be afraid to talk about people that wrong you, right? Because we have to point out those people as well. If we keep hiding them and we keep protecting them, we're gonna keep continuing the same issues down the line, right?
I have a question for you.
Yes.
So you're going to find someone to eventually one day replace you as the leader of the
Absolutely.
Albanian American
I
Association.
like to get
Do
involved.
you see yourself, and you are connecting with a lot of different shachatas from different regions. Do you see yourself, being that person that everyone can rely on and then create a Albanian American Association where all the shachatas could kind of be united under one?
Well, guess what? We had the Vatra. It's
Right.
been in community for over 100 years, and
Yeah.
their mission was to do that, and
Okay.
then they never got on that point to deliver it. Not because they couldn't, not because they didn't want to, but you have a lot of people, like Evin said, they're not willing you to see doing good. They're not willing to see you getting all united. But the thing is, I don't want to be that type of person that everyone looks at me and say, oh, now we are waiting for Xhemo. No,
No.
I'm going to give you back all my connections,
Good answer. Yeah.
all my people that I know, then you can step ahead and probably do better things that I did.
And if
That's-
you keep
that's-
working on the youth, then the mindset will eventually change where people are going to want to be all united under one.
Of course.
we talk about culture oftentimes as something that's frozen, but it's actually not. Culture is a verb, it's not a noun, and it's something that we can actively influence. So when we say Albanian culture today, when someone watches this podcast 10 years from now, it'll be different in its own way. And that's what we have to influence too. We mentioned the idea of jealousy oftentimes in the culture. It might hold people back. But looking deeper into that, do you think Albanians have a bit of a backwards culture of scarcity that comes from their experience with communism, their experience being divided up, that makes them feel that if someone else has opportunity, they won't? So when they see a successful young man or a successful young woman or just someone in general in a position of power, that they feel instantly threatened by it because they think that the pie is not expanding, that it's lessening through that. But from your experience, giving back is actually increase people's abundance in that way.
I'm kind of mixed of mentality, you know, with the old school mentality as well and the new generations. It's all about now social media, and people cannot scam you anymore. Like Erwin said, oh, they used to scam you. They used to like point on you and other people that believed that
Badmouth you.
yes, badmouth you, like gossiping about you and everything. Then
that still goes on today, though.
yes,
It still does goes on, unfortunately.
Yes, it goes on, but everything, thank God, now it's all about social media. You can see everything.
Yes, with
Now-
social
now
media,
it's
has
more
made it
exposed.
more exposure. Yes, absolutely, I agree with you. But as far as if you want to give a message to the youth that are gonna watch this podcast, what's your message to them?
My message to the youth, it's a clear message. Just be yourself. Be proud of where your parents come from. Be proud of your roots, of your flag that you're representing, and to never let anyone scam you no matter what you're doing. Because it's all about you. It's all about us Albanians.
Tani Xhemo, vështirësia që unë shoh shpesh si një person që ka ardhur në Amerikë në moshën 6 vjeçare është që kur takoj shqiptar të tjerë që ose kanë lindur këtu ose kanë ardhur më të mëdhenj se unë, nuk flasin shqip, nuk lexojnë shqip, dhe familja e tyre nuk e ka atë iniciativën për t'i mësuar shqip, po shkolla jote po mëson shqip.
A dini si?
Si e mësove?
Nuk ishte asdo gjare rasisht në këtë vend. Çdo kush mundohet me qenë vetvetja.
Po.
Kemi të bëjmë edhe me ballafaqimin e aty në personave që kanë qef të jenë si të tjerët, jo si vetvetja.
Po.
Edhe unë besoj që e vetmja mënyrë që ne mundemi me qenë vetvetja është me marrë traditat, me marrë ato femirinë, edhe me marrë ato emocionet, ato kujtimet e jona kudo që shkojmë. Unë them çdo herë, mos harro nga vjen.
Shumë mirë, më pëlqen. Po, si ti frymëzosh ato fëmijë që nuk duan të kenë turp për i faktit që nuk flasin dot shqip, por të japësh diçka pozitive për ta mësuar gjuhën.
Unë besoj që ajo kohë ka kry,
Po.
që me pas tërp prej vendit që je, me pas tërp prej komunitetit që ti i takon, ose me pas tërp që je
fol
pjesë e një feje, ose në fundit me fol shqip.
Po.
Unë besoj që sot ne quhemi shqiptar edhe themi kudo në botë me plot krenari. E shihni si sot keni artista suksesshëm, keni Dua Lipën, keni Rita Orën, keni futbollist suksesshëm, Granit Xhaka, Xherdan Shaqiri, edhe gjithë këto njerëz janë jo rastisht, por fakti që kanë arrit ta mbajnë kulturën edhe të jenë krenar për atë që janë.
Shumë mirë.
Edhe unë besoj me këto suksese mund të inspirojmë edhe të rinj tjerë që të krenohen me nacionalitetin e tyre.
Dhe ti mendon që kjo gjë është diçka e lindur apo ndryshon mentalitetin pasi vjen në një vend si Amerika për shembull? Unë mendoj që nuk është vetëm vendi, por është dhe personi ndonjëherë.
Më varet se edhe prej punës familjes.
Po.
Nuk varet çdo gjë ke fëmiu. Ne çdo herë thojmë që 99% i çdo epizodit dhe 1% është talenti. Në atë talent varesh ti apo nëna aso jo. Edhe unë besoj që nuk ka asnjë lloj problemit që të bëhesh dikushi edhe normalisht në fund t'ja japësh komunitetit vet atë se çfarë i takon.
Dhe një gjë e fundit që doja të pyesja. çfarë do i thoja atyre që të ndjekin ty akoma nga Ulqini, nga Malizia, nga Shqipëria, nga Shkodra, nga Tirana, që thonë, po dëgjoj, unë nuk mund të bëj hapa të mëdha sepse unë jam në Shqipëri ose jam në Maltëzi, duhet të jem dhe unë në Zvicër apo në Amerikë që të jemi suksesshëm. A është e vërtet apo jo kjo gjë?
As pak nuk është e vërtet. Çdo gjë bëhet me vetbesim, çdo gjë bëhet me kurajo dhe me suportin e njerëzve të mirë që ke përreth. Çdo herë thonë mundohet zgjedhësh shokun më të mirë se veten. Edhe mendoj që kish edhe një hap i suksesit që ti mund të arrish ato ëndrat e tua siç i ke pasur çdo herë. Ne duhet të punojmë sa më tepër në vetveten edhe të besojmë në vetveten. Normalisht besimi tek Zoti është numër 1 tek çdo person i suksesshëm, por edhe besimin që ta jep populli edhe shoqëria edhe njerëzit e tu është shumë i vlefshëm, sepse në fund të ditës duhet ta dish si ta shfrytëzosh, edhe besoj që vetëm ashtu mund të jesh tek hapat e suksesit. Nuk ka lidhje vendi, nuk ka lidhje kush je apo cilës fe apo nacionaliteti takon, ka lidhje vetëm vetbesimi. Asgjë tjetër. I love my community. You know,
Right.
respect
And you're trying to
others.
preserve that.
I'm trying to preserve, to protect, and to advocate for my community.
Yeah.
And to advocate because I wanted to keep my people 100% to do whatever I say or whatever the next leader after me is going to say. But as much as we can to stick together, that's the best idea. If not, God bless everybody.
This
you know,
is
there's nothing we can do.
I think it also comes from the perspective of being an Albanian from Montenegro or the diaspora that surrounds Albania. And if you didn't stick together, you would completely no longer be
They
there
fought so
anymore.
hard
to be
able
yeah,
to
they fought
survive.
so hard to
So it's
remain
understandable
Albanian.
to have
exactly.
that perspective in its own way too. Yeah.
Well, Xhemo, thank you for being here today and sharing your experience,
That
your
was
messages.
so quick.
It goes by fast.
It does go by fast. You get more involved with Shochata Ulqini. What's the Instagram page?
Shochata Ulqini, United States of America. We are on Instagram, we are on Facebook, we are on Twitter, we are on Snapchat as well.
I'll be at your picnic next year again.
The picnic
We
is
are
really
all
fun.
the platforms,
Yeah, the picnic
yes.
was really fun. I commend you for that. You did a great job. Let's make that a lot more bigger.
And we are going to work with the other communities. And I wanted to mention, and it's very sad since you are from Dibra as well, there is no longer Shochata Dibra for now, as I was speaking to
Why?
the former president. Their issues, their
But
problems.
we need
Oh,
we
boy.
need
There you go.
the
I
youth.
think
We need the
the
youth.
leader
drama.
is right here that can step up
More
and
drama.
take the lead, you know?
Really?
But
Why they got dissolved?
yes, I don't know why, what happened. I don't know what was the issue, but the thing is that
Like,
it didn't work out. They were trying to elect the new president,
Okay.
that because the previous president was for 7 years in that position, and he couldn't even work with other people because, you know, they were trying to step on top of him, and they were trying to point on him, oh, you did this, you did that, you spent the money and stuff. Then he came to a point to say, okay, I'm done.
I quit.
And he quit.
So basically,
It's very sad.
Shochata Dibras has to learn from Shochata Ulqini and get the youth to.
I mean, we
step
learned
up.
from Dibra.
So-
Now Dibra is going to learn in some points from us, you know, and
Well, there you
we
go.
all learn from each other.
We learn from each other.
So
Exactly.
there is an open vacancy for anyone who
So
wants
if
to
there's
run for
anyone that
president
wants to run
for
for
the
Shochata Dibra, please, we need your help.
But I think it's so important. I think very unique what you mentioned about the mentorship that you offer, because you're not afraid of someone taking your spot per se. You know that by collaborating, you're able to create a community that
Unlike some
is
people.
existent forever, and you have deep roots towards it. And in that way, you're able to extend your voice and your mission throughout it too. So I think that's something we should really push out there. And for generations beyond us, maybe that went through communism, for example, so they have that scarcity mindset that still affects them because they were in survival mode, and they're still in survival mode in that way, to be able to exit it and create a new culture of collaboration.
There is a thing that I will never stop speaking up about the young generation, about us, because I belong to young generation as well. There is nothing stopping me to speak up about the future of our community, and I'm willing, and I will put all my efforts 100% to push the young generation and to work together so we can have more leaders in our community and why not? Today we have a superstars, music, Dua Lipa, Bibi Reja, and we have Rita Ora. Tomorrow we can have a leader, you know?
Mira Murati in AI.
Yes,
It's not just music and entertainment. It's-
Xhemo, I
So-
just have to say, I know you're a lot younger than me, but age doesn't
Doesn't
matter.
Yeah.
When someone inspires you, they inspire you, and you have inspired me. And I hope whoever's
You're gonna
watching
run
the
for the
show,
presidency of DIBA? No,
I hope whoever's watching the show also is inspired by the words that you have said here today.
The
So
law
thank
doesn't
you.
let to run for the president of America, but for vice president you can run, definitely.
well, two points I want to make here, right? I feel like there's this idea that in order for you to be a president of an organization, you have to be from that region. How can we change that? For example, why can you run for the presidency of Sociata Dibra after you leave Sociata Ulqini or you know another organization from another person who's from a different region or from Albania for
They
whatnot?
always have an excuse.
Well, that's one thing. The second thing is I feel like we tend to not not promote changes within. What I mean by that, for example, you have presidents of organizations who've been there for over 10 years, which I think it's ridiculous. I think there should be a term limit, right, for you to be a president of an organization, and then you should respect that. I feel like there's leaders, and that's one of the problems that we have in the community today, that you have people in the same position for years, and they're not letting the youth or the future to take over, to change with the time. So they're always going to be a roadblock. And I feel like we should all come together as a community in a consensus to say term limits for every president of any organization out there to 4 years max, and that's it. And then let somebody else come in and take over. Otherwise, we're always going to have this problem. We're always going to have issues. We're going to bring personal vendettas with different organizations and take things personally because you have one person for so many years that it's been like communism. It's not allowing for changes, right? So you take that as an advice from me that instill some type of term limits
My
within
term
your
is coming
organization.
into the end.
That's why he has 2 new people coming. aboard.
So now you can apply for another to be a president of another Sociata and then try to bring that collaboration
And
between
bring
the
all your
Sociatas.
teachers.
You know, our people, like, we grow up, like, we were born and raised, like I said, and I will keep mentioning, with a different mentality back home. Oh, you gotta have to know people, you gotta have to know families, so you can become somebody in that city. And that's what happened. The same thing with the Sociatas. All the people that immigrated here, they brought that mentality here in the United States, especially in New York where we live. And you have to be from Dibur so you can become a president, because
But that's why I was saying,
if
why
you're not from
have-
Dibur, you don't know families, you don't know people, and
Yeah.
how you're gonna work, how you're gonna help that
Right.
city. You know,
But-
it's not about helping city there; it's about helping community here as well.
Exactly.
Exactly, and that was one of my points: is why not have one large organization? Because with the youth, first, second, third generation, they're more connected with their upbringings here in America. Like they don't know
Very
what's
true.
going on over there, so they're, someone that's Ulčinako, Dibrano, Krajan, or from
Of course.
Albania. They're born here. They're going to relate to each other more than someone from back home.
Yes, absolutely.
Xhemo, thank you again. It was a pleasure to speak with you, and hopefully you
pleasure
can come
always
back
to see
again
you.
with some big projects that you have going on.
We have a lot of big projects actually working now in a mosque, renovating outdoors, indoors.
Very nice.
It's a project of $30,000. And after summer, we are working the project actually that we are going to announce it in social medias very soon. It's a kindergarten for kids back home in Ulqin.
Oh, very nice.
And that's like I said, it's all about the young generations.
There you
and
go.
we are
Thank
gonna
you
work
so much
very
for
hard on
everything.
that.
Thank you, Xhemo.
Thank you
for
so
being
much.
here.
My pleasure, and hope you guys to see you soon again and
Yeah.
talk about a lot of big things.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.